revolution.
Well, off for a walk. My favourite county of Durham. The riverbed is risen high, the water is spilled over onto the path, and I have wet feet. But it's a nice sunny day, it's warm, it's a warm October morning. And I've been getting a lot more sleep, rising earlier, getting more done during the day, more rewarding. Oh, it's definitely, I've got more water to come. That sun is very bright. There's Pre-Bren's Bridge. See, there's the cathedral. This is the River Wear. I'm just out for a bit of a stroll. And we have a lot of water that I need to traverse. There's a lot. So if I get up on the cloggy bank here, yeah. Let's get on a bit of high ground, away from the wet. See. Well, what's that? The riverbank's high. It must have been raining heavy last night. But, oh, be careful. Oh. Yeah, same here. It's all fun and games. Oh, yes. So what's turned out to be a nice quiet walk has turned into the fucking Krypton factor. Walking up into the brush to avoid the water. Yeah, that sun is very bright. But yeah, bit of an overflow. Oh, bit of a fence post there, swept away by the fast flow of the river. Obviously, this time I've managed to come up a bit so my feet don't get soaked as I walk along the hilly side of the river. Oh, here we go. And I'm back on the path. Yeah. So yeah, this is County Durham. And there is the cathedral, Durham Cathedral, or cathedral, which will have once had Tartarian technology to extract the ether from out of the atmosphere to power that building, but they don't tell you that in the history books. So yeah, legend would tell you that the cathedral is almost 1,000 years old, built by the Normans after the Battle of Hastings. It was William the Conqueror's, part of William the Conqueror's bloodline after 1066. So get to 2066. Yeah. 1,000 years. Or so they say. We all know the cathedrals were designed for harmonic frequency, harmonic resonance. And the bells that they used to have all over the world would give off a harmonic resonance, a harmonic frequency, which would actually heal the bodies. And after World War II, a lot of those bells were destroyed.
There's a reason we don't see those giant bells in churches anymore. They went to great lengths to destroy, bury, and replace the bells of the old world to hide the importance of acoustic resonance. See, these bells were a healing source. We're told they had to melt them down to create ammunition for the fake wars. The irony of the same bells used for healing to be used for the exact opposite purpose. And those of the past perfected the use of geometry and resonance to be in symbiosis with the elements of nature. The destruction of these bells shares the same ill intent of those who switch the musical pitch standard from the natural harmonic 432 Hz to the conscious suppressing 440 Hz. So ask yourself, why would we be openly allowed such gifts of acoustic healing and free energy, so long as the controllers aim to profit off our sickness and dependency, off their petroleum-based medications, all to make us easier to control? Until next time.
And that part of history was erased. These are the things that we're not told about. But you know, it is what it is. We're constantly being lied to, constantly lied about our history, how our Gregorian calendar adds on 1,000 years, how the Dark Ages weren't as dark as what we've been told or vague. In fact, the Dark Ages were an advanced period in time where, you know, we had a lot of technology that was suppressed from us, and we had a reset, one of many, so I'm told.
Once upon a time, there was a civilization that was far superior and more sophisticated than we could ever imagine. This civilization was systematically destroyed and hidden from our history books. This civilization used atmospheric energy to obtain electricity. Having free energy meant that humanity could focus on more serious endeavors, such as creation, creativity, love, and self-development. We see these same geometric, beautiful buildings all over the world, from Africa to China to Japan to South America to Europe. These buildings show us that we lived in an interconnected culture, a culture that understood the deeper levels of existence and how to harness electromagnetic energy. History is a lie and a story built by our oppressors to continue to keep us enslaved, but we will rise again.
You guys ready for the hard truth? Red pill? Yeah. This is a cathedral, also known as a cathedral. You see, the elite use these cathedrals, aka cathedrals, which produce free energy by pulling it in from the ether, and they are able to have free energy in their big structure buildings with this technology that they keep from us, making the rest of the city pay for PG&E, paid gas and electric. Wait, so they don't pay and get it for free with these cathedrals, which they stole, and make us pay? Wow, we're working like robots when we shouldn't have to if we all just had cathedrals. Well, here's a beautiful picture of the old world. Look at under this Paris Eiffel Tower and look at that one. What changed between 1900 and 2016? That's beautiful. This is the Palace of Electricity and the Water Castle in Paris, 1900. St. Louis, Missouri, 1904. So much electricity being produced freely in 1901 in New York. Magnetism free. Electricity costs. Yep.
In the 1900s, this lady is clearly on a mobile phone. And the astonishing thing is, the lady in the video, her family recognized this video and indeed confirmed that she was using a wireless device.
What if they are hiding the Tartaria mud flood from us to cover up the fact that they intentionally erased them from history? The mud flood theory is a controversial hypothesis that claims that in the 18th or 19th century, a catastrophic event took place where a massive flood of mud covered entire cities and wiped out entire civilizations. The Tartarians were subject to this disaster and were wiped out completely. Now, the more sinister side to this story is that their entire existence was erased from history after this tragic event by the ruling elite. But why would they do that? Well, it is said that the Tartarians were known for their ability to create free energy from the atmosphere using their architecture. The ruling elite were not happy about this, as they had invested a lot of money into making energy into a business, and if everyone could access it for free, then they would be at a major loss. The main pieces of evidence we have to support this theory are the buildings that we have in various parts of the world that seem to be older than the officially recognized timeline of human history, not to mention the strange windows and doorways that seem to have no practical purpose found on many of the suspected buildings.
Whereby a lot of buildings were erased, some remain, to tell a fraction of what our history actually was. But you know, but it's a nice day, and I'm enjoying the warm weather, just having a walk across Pre-Bren's Bridge. But I'm actually in the city, Durham City. I live in the county of Durham, 7 miles out of the city, and it's just nice taking a ride in to the city because it's quaint. It's not like a metropolis, not like London or, you know, or New York, things like that. But very scenic, very quaint. And here we have, I don't know if you can see it, a bit of poetry. Great towers of Durham, yet well I love thy mixed in massive piles, half church of God, half castle against the Scot, and long to roam these venerable isles, with records stored of deeds long since forgot. Sir Walter Scott, 1810. But you know, it's just beautiful. It's well worth to come here for a walk along the River Wear. And at a day like this, you'll probably see people out on the boats. It's just nice. So I'm just like on a bit of a walk, doing very well with my walking. And I'm just wearing a hoodie with a t-shirt underneath and my tactical headscarf wrapped around my neck. And that's all I need, because it's around about 13-14 degrees at the moment, which is too warm for me, too warm for a coat, for me personally. And it seems the more weight I lose, the warmer I get, which is ironic. And let's have a quick record of the man. You're welcome. So I've just crossed over to the other side of the river, across the Pre-Bren's Bridge to go down. So you'll see the opposite side now to where I was walking. But it's just a nice scenic walk, and obviously it's autumn now and the leaves are falling from the trees. There's still a lot of green. I have to admit, if this was 30 years ago and I would have been 17, there would probably be big ground frost now and you would need a warmer jacket. But our seasons aren't as cold. Oh, there's a squirrel. There's a squirrel in the nut. I don't know if you can see it, but Oh, you can zoom in. That is great, a nut. Oh, he's away. He's away, look. He's like, you bastard, I'm eating that nut and you're fucking out interrupting us. But yeah, it would have been a lot colder 30 years ago. You know, normally after summer, because we normally go back to school around about the 1st of September, something like that, because you have a 6 weeks holiday, which starts around about the 19th of July, and then you end up going back start of September. And I've known it snow as a child straight after summer has ended. You know, no fucking about, just straight into the frost and the snow. You know, like such as now in October, it would be like there would be a sheet of ice, frost cold. You know, a lot of steam coming from your breath. You would have a nice parka coat on or something like that, scarf or a balaclava with a snotty snake. Snotty snake. But yeah, now seasons are not what they once were, and so they are warmer. It's greener. You know, the leaves don't fall as fast. But yeah. So I'm just taking you off an adventure. I've got a few things I want to talk about. We'll get there eventually. So I'm just, you know, I'm sort of like readjusting, so I'm sleeping better on the night time. I'm getting up earlier now. I'm getting more done in the day. You know, and I'm wanting to get to bed early now, but yeah, that's the side I've just been on. That lady over there with that child, she's got a pair of sandals on. And I was walking past, it was flooded, one area was flooded. I was just like, yeah, my feet are definitely wet, but at the moment they've warmed up so it doesn't feel too bad. Normally there's some steps there, but the riverbed's hard today, so it must have really downpoured last night. Definitely downpoured. And also, as you noticed, that it's very scenic, considering we're in the city. We're literally surrounded by countryside all over in the northeast of England. And Durham's just a nice quaint city, but we have the university as well, so we have the cathedral and the castle's right beside it, and that's used as part of the Durham University. So we're in the midst of what's the word for it? Freshers. We're in the midst of freshers. Because sometimes, like most people go back to school in September with the university, sometimes it doesn't start until sort of like around now, October. But everyone comes up to the dormitories or whatever housing they have, because in the northeast, in the north of England, let's just say the cost of living's more affordable than if you were to be living as a student in London, which is very expensive part of the country. Whereas in the north, the cost of living is more affordable, but it's still expensive compared to what it used to be, but still cheaper than down south. So here we are, Prebends Bridge. We're now walking under it. Oh, that sun's bright. So I'm just trying to get to a nice part where I can start talking about some of the things that I want to start talking about, because I've got a lot to say. I always have a lot of things to fucking say. My life is anything but normal. Oh. But yeah, so what do we talk about? Let's talk about the downfall of YouTube. That is to come, especially as we get into next year, because, well, let's put it this way, all the top earning YouTubers, nearly all, you know, who like have crazy amount of subscribers, who are just making millions, you tend to find they are controlled, and they're all massive nonsense. I'll put a caption under my screen for nonce or nonces, so those who are not from the UK will know what nonce means. But it's also a prison term for sex offenders, so not on normal community exercise. Nonce. And how so, like YouTube, unbeknownst to most people, has been taken to court because they are a subsidiary of Google, and with Google being a search engine, they've been suppressing competition. So they're like streaming platforms, and one streaming platform goes by the name of Rumble has taken YouTube to court and won a case because, oh, it's fucking so flooded around here, because of the suppression. Oh yeah, really fucking. And so it's looking like Google and YouTube is going to be broken apart because they're acting as a monopoly and closing out any kind of competition. So Rumble has won a court case which will see the breakup and the eventual downfall of YouTube. Not, oh yeah, that can't go. I'm gonna have to make changes. I'm gonna have to readjust my route. Oh well, no.
Welcome back. A group of social media companies led by Elon Musk's X are suing an advertising trade group for what they're calling an illegal boycott. One of those companies joining the lawsuit is online video sharing platform Rumble, one of YouTube's largest competitors. Their CEO, Chris Pavlovski, joins us now. Chris, explain to me in layman's terms what this is all about. It gets a little complicated and in the weeds, but from your perspective, what is at issue here?
Thanks for having me on. So what's happening right now, I guess the simplest way to put it, if you're an advertiser and you don't want to advertise on Rumble or X, that's totally fine. You have the option to do that. But the problem happens when you have a consortium or a group like the World Federation of Advertisers, or in their group that they created called GARM, which then assembles all these advertisers and agencies, which creates a huge amount of power for these for GARM to basically instruct these companies on whether or not and how they want to deploy brand safety standards. So what happens here is once you have a huge consortium that creates a monopoly across all the big ad budgets that dictate a brand safety standard, they then can now discriminate against certain voices on other platforms. If they don't like what some speech might happen on Rumble or X, they can say, we're not going to touch that, which then causes advertising rates to go higher because now they're only accessing a certain portion of the market, and then drives higher prices for their shareholders and their brands. This harms the advertisers, the shareholders. It creates higher fees for the agencies, and also harms Rumble creators and Rumble viewers and the Rumble platform.
Chris, I get why you don't like it, and I think it's foolish for these companies to avoid platforms like Rumble or X, but I don't understand how it's illegal. Tell me why this is a legal issue.
Yeah, so when you have a monopoly and you create a monopoly by assembling all this power and control to dictate a certain standard of how you're going to spend that money, that's not a free market. The Sherman Act does not allow that. So that's illegal. There's different rules and standards when you're a monopoly. And what the World Federation of Advertisers has done is they created a monopoly to basically tell a monopoly to tell all these advertisers how they should spend money based on certain speech. So you can't use the First Amendment in a way by having a monopoly to dictate how you're going to deploy funds. This is harmful to their advertisers. It's harmful to the Rumble creators, and it's basically there's a completely different set of rules when you're a monopoly, and that's how you have to look at this. They've monopolized the ad budgets.
Speaking of monopolies, the landmark antitrust case that we were looking at, I believe it was on Monday, is the big DOJ's case against Google, really effectively calling them a monopoly in that ruling. And sort of the next part of that case is determining if Google has to be broken up or if there's some other remedy. You've also been in fights with Google as well. How are you thinking about the way that that case does or does not impact your case with Google?
So we have two antitrust cases with Google. The first case which we filed in 2021 survived motions to dismiss by Google. Google tried to dismiss the case. The judge denied all their assertions, and that's in discovery. And that's with respect to search preferencing and mobile apps. And it's very similar in many ways to the current DOJ ruling that we saw just the other day. Basically, what Google is doing, they have a monopoly as well, and by having monopoly, they're using their power both in search and in the DOJ case, as we saw, by pre-installing their mobile apps and defaulting their mobile apps on devices. Is of major concern. This is very anti-competitive behavior that's not allowed. Once again, when you're a monopoly, you cannot do this. You have to you run by a different set of rules, because now you have more you're basically destroying the free market when you're a monopoly and you abuse your power. So what we've done is we've sued them both on the mobile apps and the search preferencing, which is deep in discovery right now. And earlier this year, we also went after them for antitrust on the advertising business. So we have two separate suits, one in the ad business with respect to Google and them there, and one in the search and mobile apps side of their business.
A lot going on. Thank you for breaking it down for us and for fighting the fight, because really at the end of the day, these kinds of suits come down to exposing the activity, I think, Chris, that most consumers don't understand is going on behind the scenes, and it has such a big impact on the messaging. So we appreciate your time and that you could join us today. Thanks.
Thank you very much for having me.
But yes, this is the River Wye, but the banks have burst, shall we say, mildly burst. I don't really want to fuck about. Well, I've got my phone out, but we'll go a different way. And I'll show you the cathedral. And it smells lovely. Someone smoking weed. Can you smell weed? No, none of that. Well over here now. But the smell is unmistakable. Right, so let's see. Just change the route. Flooded. It's flooded. Unless you want to go swimming. But yeah, so YouTube, it's corrupt, right? The CEOs, one which has died, are all part of secret societies such as the Eastern Stars, the Skull and Bones, the Knights of Malta. I was at the Order of the Pink Garter and the Knights Templar, the Illuminati, and of course the Freemasons. Also, the contraction is made and called the Masons, but not as in stonemasons. They are two different entities. The stonemasons deal with the physical. The Freemasons deal with the metaphysical. But CEOs, man or woman or inverts, basically, are part of these secret societies. And they suppress people like me, or any reader, or any psychic investigator who exposes their operation. So what they do, they start off, this is the YouTube revenue executives. There's two or more. So So what they start to do, they siphon off their funds and slowly reduce it to a pittance to force them off the platform, to prevent them from exposing the truth. Right? And they're keeping their money for themselves, or they'll steal their likes. They'll steal their views. That was a bit of an incline, that. And they'll go on the dark web and recycle them by setting up a page where people can purchase like shares and subscribes, and then they're profiting off the backs of other content creators who they deemed as unlikable, unworthy to be on that platform. And so you have competing platforms who try to, like, you know, provide a platform to give people a voice. They're being suppressed by YouTube and Google, because YouTube is a subsidiary of Google, because Google bought YouTube a while ago. I know it came out about 2005, so any time after that, not long after that, you know. And so they suppress competition, keep them out of the searches because of Google's search engine, and obviously Google will play up for downloads for apps for different social media platforms. They're all part of the conglomerate anyway, and suppress people like me and other readers of the psychic investigators who are exposing the truth, exposing the workings that goes on behind closed doors at YouTube. And like, you know, bringing out the darkness and into the light to give full exposure. Well, of course, YouTube doesn't like this because, you know, they're profiting off the creative abilities of other people while suppressing and starving them and forcing them out. And besides these stupid bastards at YouTube, these revenue executives who are siphoning off people's fucking money, stealing their likes, stealing their views, and and take them on the dark web to resell back to desperate people who pay for subscribers, likes and shares. I mean, that's fucking sad and pathetic. But not only that, that's why I had to cut in here, just to add a little bit more context to the video. Not only that, they actually take bribes from idiots, psychopaths, right, to remove like YouTube accounts from the algorithm so they get no attention. Not that I'm doing this for fucking money, I'm doing this for exposure. I'm doing this to bring your platform down because of the corruption, the sheer corruption that's involved with you fucking clowns. But not only that, not only are you accepting bribes, right, you also engaging in premeditated murder by joining in with the death magic, the death spells, right? Because you're fucking so terrified of being caught in the act, which you have been caught in the act. You're heavily under investigation. Oh, next year, you're going to be plastered all over the fucking news, all right? And I just thought I'd like to interject and slip that in the video. But yeah, you're all fucked and you're all going down, just like those silly fuckers who you teamed up with. Team Pedo, because that's exactly what fucking YouTube is. The pedo network who gives away kids' fucking data to sex traffickers to kidnap these kids because you're all fucking corrupt. Morally, spiritually, mentally. You're all bankrupt of anything that's decent. And I will be happy to see your platform fall because of you being so corrupt. You fucking absolute clowns. But yeah, catch you later.
Some people are really fucking stupid. Did you ever notice that? How many really stupid people you run into during the day? God damn, there's a lot of stupid bastards walking around. Carry a little pad and pencil with you. You wind up with 30 or 40 names by the end of the day. Look at it this way. Think of how stupid the average person is, and then realize half of them are stupider than that. And it doesn't take you very long to spot one of them, does it? Take you about 8 seconds. You'll be listening to some guy. You say, this guy is fucking stupid. Then there are some people, they're not stupid, they're full of shit. That doesn't take very long to spot either, does it? Take you about the same amount of time. You'll be listening to some guy and say, well, he's fairly intelligent. He's full of shit. Then there are some people, they're not stupid, they're not full of shit, they're fucking nuts. Dan Quayle is all three. All three. Stupid, full of shit, and fucking nuts.
So now there's been so many people reporting it to the right authorities. There's a huge high-profile case underway exposing the corruption at YouTube. And so I am one of many who are exposing the corruption that's going on at YouTube. Oh, just don't be never. Let's just reach out to the cathedral. This is a part of the university. I'll just take you somewhere else because the riverbanks have burst and it's blocked the pathway, so I'm just having a look to see if I can get out to the cathedral from where I am here. I believe I can. Or maybe I can't. But still, it's a nice little walk out. And there is the cathedral. That is Durham Cathedral, right there. So, yes. So next year, just get ready to see the collapse of YouTube on an epic, monumental scale. Yeah, so this is the cathedral, but no, I can't see that over there, look. But, that over there. No, but I just thought nice little walk around, show you what's going on. But yeah, we've got that to look forward to. So this is the cathedral. We're having a nebby day, but yeah, I just thought I would incorporate in that. I'll be coming back with the videos, but yeah, just get ready. And like, if you're dependent on YouTube as a main source of income, just get ready to change it, because all that's going to change. You've got to witness YouTube become. And so this is. Does any film in particular grab your attention as you see the cloisters? Do 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 do. Start to the minor fourth. But anyway, no. Minor fourth, yep. So this is the cloisters in Durham Cathedral. So we're having a special treat today. But yeah, I've called it here. You're about to witness the collapse of YouTube and the rise of the platforms to give other people a voice and expose the truth. So get ready for it. But this is the cloisters in Durham Cathedral. Oops. So this is Durham Cathedral. And that's based off a cymatic frequency because it's all harmonic resonance frequency in the cathedral, and I'll just leave it there for now. So yeah, that was Durham Cathedral. I've got other things to talk about, but I just think I'll leave it there for now. I'll come back in a little while with more things to talk about, like some crazy theories. We'll just have a crazy chat about some crazy theories, and I'd like to talk about one of my favourite researchers. His real name is Ed Turini. He also goes by the alias of Dallas Goldbug, and he's one of the first people that I'm aware of before any of these truthers out here was making us aware to crisis actors and false flag events and how so-called truthers pose many identities, and that these pedo elites have access to all kinds of technology in terms of prosthetics that by subtle changes here and there just completely changes the identity and they become someone else. Tricks that royal families and things like that have been doing, where they would put on a disguise to walk amongst the subject, unbeknownst to the subject as the castle. And so yeah, he then began to talk about facial landmarks, like such as moles, how your ear, the inner part, not the outer part but the inner part, is like a fingerprint, and it's like a fingerprint on your finger, you know what I mean? It's its own identity and you can't duplicate it, and that it's one of the ways to identify a gatekeeper playing a new identity. I mean, some of these people fake the deaths and come back with some face work done, you know, some plastic surgery, things like that, to give them a completely new identity. But yeah, he goes in depth about how they use these different disguises, how they use different prosthetics, and they pretend to be crisis actors. And you know, he did a lot of work in his research, which I've obtained, you know what I mean, for my own research into uncovering the depths of what these so-called people in the truther community are nothing but fucking wolves in sheep's clothing, basically. We'll go into that at some point. Especially, he talks a lot about people like David Icke and Max Egan, to name but a few, but there are many others. He even talks about Alex Jones and who his original identity used to be and what other identities he assumes, unbeknownst to the masses who are just under hypnotic illusions who are easily watching the television because that's hypnotic in itself. But yeah, so I think I'll leave it there for now. We'll talk more about Ed Sheeran later on, and maybe edit in some of his work. And he talks about certain subjects, like how we're all conned into believing that Adolf Hitler died in a bunker, and who his new identity was, which was, some people theorise anyway, that it was Walt Disney, the prolific nonce who has the 33 Club at Disneyland in Florida. And there's a particular midget, a Lilliputian, who's got a big mouth but short in stature. Talks about his love of Walt. Oh, sorry. AH. And that, unbeknownst to him, or maybe he does know, because I think he's a shady cunt anyway, that both these world wars were nothing but a global Truman Show to hypnotise the masses. So everything you see is a script, and they're all actors. They're all Masonic in nature. They all wear disguises, such as like Winston Churchill just didn't play that role, and things like that. We'll talk more about that at a later date. But yeah, Hitler became Walt Disney, but before he became Hitler, he was Father Coughlin, and so we all have micro expressions, micro actions, how our body moves, yeah? And if you study the movements, you can put a face to that identity. And so we'll go into that a little bit deeper in a little while. So I'm going to sort of like finish up my walk now. But yeah, I had to do a detour, but I would have come along there, but it's the riverbank. But as you can see, the wood blocking the openings of where you would have the boats just here, and you'd go off for a row. But not today, not today. Yeah, he normally goes there. The Prince Bishop River Cruises sailing today at 12:30. Maybe not. But adults £12, senior citizens 10, and children £6. So it goes round that way, but I don't think that'd be happening today, that's for sure. But yeah, so we'll get back to that, and I'll show you some videos of Ed's research, which is fascinating to say the least. But I'll just leave it there for now, and we'll come back later and talk more about it, because it's such a beautiful day. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my walk. Catch you later.
Explosion.